I bought a Vevor grill and found out I couldn't even use it. Most people would have returned it. In fact, I tried, but they paid me to keep it. So I modified it instead. And honestly, it wasn't even that hard. 3 wires, that's it. I rewired 3 wires, and this thing went from a paperweight sitting in my garage to one of the best pieces of gear I now take with me every time we go camping. Today I'm going to show you exactly how I did it, how I modified it for camping, and how it performs in the field. Whether I'd buy it again, knowing everything I know now. If you've ever bought something that didn't work the way you expected and you're not sure what to do with it, stick around, because Salt and Steel, we don't return things. We figure them out. Let's get into it. Welcome to Salt and Steel, and I'm Amber. Today we are going to do something a little different. I showed you in the beginning of the clip this Vevor grill that we got. So the long and short of the story is we bought the grill. I thought, it's my fault, I thought it was going to be able to be used for residential use. Like you could plug into a regular outlet, a 120 outlet, 15 amp outlet. And I was wrong. So when we bought this grill, it ended up being too big. It's dual, so it's pulling more power. And the grill is a 23 amp grill. So to kind of correlate that, if you have 23 amps of power going into an appliance and your outlet is only a 15 amp, you don't have enough amps. So regular households have 15 amp plugs. So this is going to pull too much power. It's going to trip a breaker and ain't going to work. So I got to thinking, I can't return it, because when I tried to return it, the Vevor rep said, we will give you $50 to keep it. It's too heavy with the freight. We don't want it back. So we ended up getting this thing for a total of like $110. So I thought on it and I thought on it, and I'm like, well, I know enough basic electrical to convert this thing. So I turned it into a 30 amp plug for a camping pedestal or a generator, because that's 30 amps. That's more than what I need for a 23 amp appliance. So that's exactly what I did. And I'm going to show you how I did it. And yes, it works. So hang on a second. I'm going to show you the inside. Okay, so I'm showing you the inside. And if you look at this plug on the back right, you will see a black wire, a white wire, and a green wire. And those were the only 3 wires that I had to modify. So that being said, it may be hard to see the green wire. It was kind of off by itself because that's the ground. I did not touch, you do not touch anything to do with the blue or the red wires. You only swap out that white wire, the black wire, and the green ground wire. Okay, so this is the original plug it came with. When I got this was the inside that I just showed you. This was the white, the black, and the green. I literally swapped them out. So this wire is a little bit lighter of a gauge. If I look at this correctly, this is a 12 AWG gauge wire. So this is what it came with. And I swapped it out with a 10 gauge 3 wire, a 10-3 that you can get at Lowe's. And that's what you see attached to this grill now. So I went with a higher gauge that can absorb a little bit more of the amperage on it. And it's exactly the 3 wires. Now, you will find a 10 gauge wire in pink sheathing. Well, it has 4 wires, so you don't want that one. You want the one, and it's for kind of an extension cord, would be the best way if you went to the hardware store, which was the best way I could get the guy to help me. So I got 19 feet of that cord. I literally switched out the wires. Now I did have to get a couple of these wire nut fittings to put on myself, which is not a big deal. I mean, they're like $2, whatever. Just, I think I'd have to look at the size, but I got to match the gauge of the wire. So I might have got 10 to 12, something like that. Works just fine. And then I just crimped it on there, and I wired it exactly the same as it was in here. And then I took the RV plug. I will get the RV plug. I took the RV plug and I took this apart, and it is literally wired with 3 wires. It's the exact same. In fact, it tells you which wire goes where and the color. Hang on. All right, so I took off the 30 amp so you could see it literally tells you how to wire it. Exactly how to wire it. So Those wires are just wrapped, I think. Yeah, no, I didn't even have to put any kind of adapter or anything or any clip on there. Those are literally the wires pressed between them. So that's all I did. And then it probably took longer to take the cover off and mess with this than it did to wire it. And now we have a functional grill. I'm going to show you how it works. Before I plug it in, I know some of you are probably thinking, well, if your camper van is a 30 amp plug like this grill, and you only have one 30 amp plug on your pedestal, how in the world are you going to be able to use it? Well, here's how we're using it. I bought a 50 amp adapter down to a 30. I plug this into the 50 amp on the pedestal at the campground, and then I plug the grill into the 30 amp adapter, so I'm adapting down. I like this concept because obviously we want to keep this plugged in because it runs our lights and our air conditioner, but then I'm running the grill on a separate breaker so I'm not blowing anything. But for today's purposes, I'm going to run it off of our 4,000 watt Predator generator and show you how it works. Go ahead and plug it in, and I will start it up. Power is on. Well, this was just kind of a fun video to do, just to kind of let you know, hey, sometimes we buy the wrong things and sometimes we have to make shifts and pivots. And this one, I did not want to be a 46-pound paperweight, so I figured out a way to make it work for us. So when we go camping, we can do hibachi and whatnot. We've made room for it in our van, and we love it. So if you get to a spot where you're like, I don't know what to do, we can figure it out. That's just kind of what you got to do when you get into this other stage of life. We just shift, pivot, and we just say, you know what, there is a way. There is more than one way to make something work. So thank you for watching this video. If you had to do something like this before, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Have you accidentally bought something and you're like, holy crap, what am I going to do with this now? Let me know. And if you happen to do this on your own, let me know too. All right, we'll see you on the next video. Stay simple, stay strong, stay resilient.